Hello again, it's color collage time. It's July. Well, hard to believe. But it's hot outside, and that's a good thing because we had some kind of cold, damp spring. It took forever for summer to get here, it felt like. So, color collage, if you're still hanging in there with us, great. If you're behind on your blocks, that's okay too. There's no pressure. You get the quilt done when you get the quilt done. This month we're doing block 6, which is called ground cover. It's a really pretty block. I'm gonna hold the block up. Don't show you the book. There's the block. I love this. And this is half square triangles. Big surprise. Half square triangles and flying geese. So pretty simple to do. You've done all these techniques already. So if any of these, how to put these together is kind of boggling you, your previous videos that you've watched will show you how to do the half square triangles, how to sew this corner on each side. Nothing new as far as techniques in this is concerned. The colors that you're going to use are, there's 4 different ones that you get to work with here. And on your cutting instructions, just so we can make it a little more effective, the one that is called ground cover, which I love, again, she gives you the name of the fabric instead of the numbers. This is called ground cover. Cut it exactly as she shows you in the instructions, with the exception of the B squares, which says to go to a 3/8 inch dimension, go to the 1/2 inch, because whenever you do a B square, you know you're going to use it to half square triangle. And remember, I like to have that extra ease to trim them up and shape them. So if it's a B square, that 3/8 inch measurement, go up to a 1/2 and you'll get a better cut. The next one that you use is called Flora, which for obvious reasons, it looks like Flora. That one you're going to cut exactly as she has it written, because you're just doing A and D squares. And then the next one you cut is called Blue Laurel. This one, again, same thing, cut it exactly as it is written. This is really pretty fabric. This fabric needs to be in something even without it being a quilt. And then the last one that you have is called, it's a powder bluish color. You're going to use all of it. So if you've got, when you get done, this is kind of what you have left. Don't be alarmed, that's okay. That's all you should have left. And again, it's a B square, so instead of cutting it at the 3/8, you're going to cut it at a 1/2 inch to get that full dimension that you need to make your half square triangles turn out the way that you like. Directions are exactly what she says. You make it in 3 parts. You're going to make this corner here, so that's that same corner. All of them are the same. And this piece here, which is 2 flying geese put point to point, or put long side to long side, and it makes that square to square, which is kind of cool with a split down the middle. And then just a plain square in the center. What I want to mention to you, this is really firm. If you pick this up, it's almost like a piece of paper, because I've put so much starch in it. And the way that I do my quilts when I'm piecing things is I've got squares that each time first of all, when I cut, I make sure I cut exactly on the line. So when you have a grid that you're working with, or with a template, you could be to the left of the line or the right of the line. You want your fabric on the line so that the fabric, if you can't see through the line, the fabric is right under the line. That's really important in cutting, so you're cutting exactly the right size of fabric that it calls for. Then additionally, each time I sew a couple pieces together, like this corner, I'm going to put that on my template and measure it and make sure it's exactly the dimension it should be when I've sewn those 4 blocks together. And usually you do like a little square at a time. So I do this square, the middle square, the other side square, and make sure that it squares up to the dimension that she's going to tell you in the pattern. Each time I square that up, I use some kind of a starch. So there's Best Press. I love Best Press. Great product. Comes in all different scents or unscented. Lovely. Same thing goes for Flatter. I like Flatter as well. The difference between the two, if I was going to talk about what makes them different, the atomizer on the spray bottle of the Flatter makes a mist spray, where the one on the Best Pressed is a little lumpy, I guess for a better word. It sometimes spurts little drops rather than a spray. The solution for that is you can buy an atomizer bottle, and I put my best press always in an atomizer bottle.
Is that those little bottles that we carry, those empty ones?
Yes.
They got the decals on them.
Yes, they're so cute. They're so cute. So I'll put my best press in that. I use these two interchangeably. Doesn't matter, whichever one I happen to grab is what I use. But that's what I use when I'm squaring the little square. So each time I sew these four pieces to make that corner, I would spray with this, press it out, and then measure to be sure that I get the dimension that one little square is supposed to be. Then when I sew all the rows together, when everything is sewn together, and I'm like done with the block basically, I soak it with this. This is about $1.50 at Walmart. We can't even carry this and get it cheaper than that, so I'm just going to send you to Walmart or even Dollar Tree. It's really just magic sizing is what it's called, and it's spray starch is what it is. It's just an iron-on spray starch. El Cheapo, it's perfect. It's absolutely my favorite thing. Okay, I'm going to say this, and then you're going to say, well, so-and-so said, and such said, and she said, and this one. I'm telling you what works for me. This is how I do it. You don't have to do it this way. But these are not heavy starches, these are light starches. So I do these as I'm making the block. But when I'm ready to say, okay, the block is done, I'm gonna wet it down with this. I'm gonna press it so it's like crisp. And then I'm gonna take it to my real final cutting, and I'm gonna lay this on that, and I'm gonna trim it up. Because at this point now, this piece is very, very flat. It's very, very smooth, okay? That way, I'm guaranteed when I get to the end of my quilt that I'm ready to put all my pieces together, everybody's the right size. If it's not the right size, then I can stop and figure out, okay, wait a minute. Am I making too generous of a quarter? Am I making too narrow of a 1/4 inch seam? Am I not putting my squares together right? Have I mismeasured something? Did I miscut something? I solve the problem before I get to the end of the quilt to put it together and go, oops, it doesn't work, okay? So those are my tips for you. If you have any questions at all, email me, Kathy@alwaysinstitches1.com. You can call the store, 317-776-4227. I hope you're playing along with this quilt. It's a beautiful quilt. I'm really excited that Nancy wrote the pattern and that we're getting to make it. So there it is. And I hope to see you next month. We'll make another block or two. Happy stitching.